Hi, I'm Trevor Haney, and this is my water filtration project. The picture on the right are my objects that I placed into cups to create my water filtration project, and the picture on the left is the actual outcome of my project. Nice and clear. So, how I went about this, I really first had to follow what my students do in my classroom, and that is to follow these kind of sets of rules that we use to solve problems. So the very first step is to define the problem. I really wanted to figure out what I was to be doing. So the very first thing was, well, I have to filter this water using only the objects assigned. I only wanted to use the objects. I didn't want to incorporate anything new. So I went about that, and I had to do a lot of brainstorming and research. I wanted to figure out if it had ever been done before. Obviously, it had been. I looked at Google. I didn't look too hard, but I found some examples from other projects that have been done in the past. But really, I wanted to figure out, how does the earth naturally filter the water? So I looked up and I did a little bit more research on that than what just had been done before. And I really wanted to figure out how charcoal and alum could be used in my water purification system. I wasn't sure with those two objects. They're a little questionable at first, but after my research I found, and I watched a whole bunch of videos on those two objects and how they actually are able to clean the water. So then the next step was to actually create my my tests. So from my brainstorming, I figured out, hey, I'm going to use these cups in this this order to be able to get the cleanest water per se. So to carry out the test, I punched the holes in the bottom of the cups. I placed the objects actually into the cups, as you can see in the top picture. Then I stacked the cups one on top of the other. And I got the dirty water. For the dirty water, I decided to go at some Miracle Grow and place that into a thing of water, stirred it around, as you can see on the very, very bottom picture of this. And then I took that dirty water and I dumped it into my filtration device, as you can see in the middle picture, and I wanted to see what happened. So I really wanted to figure out what the best possible way to produce this clean water was, so I wasn't sure if I should go as far as the objects in the cups, small to large, large to small, or a mix. I decided to do a mixture of the two for the very, very first test that I did. From the very first test with the mixture, I was pleasantly surprised by the sight test. I looked at it, and as it was filtering down into the final cup, it was crystal clear. So it went from that muddy water at the very, very bottom there, all the way to this nice clean, almost looked like it had come from the tap itself. But then I did the taste test, and at first I smelled it, and it smelled a lot like Miracle Grow still. So already going into the taste test, I didn't really necessarily want to drink it. It got to my lips, and I did not drink it. So I'm not sure if that was just Miracle Grow and perhaps the chemicals that go into Miracle Grow. I didn't think about that before I did the test. But I'm excited to try to do this test another time, mix the orders around, and see what happens. So the lessons learned, I thought this was extremely interesting. I honestly want to keep trying this, do different kinds of order of the material within the filter, just to see if there's a better combination. And I want to try it out in my own classroom. There's a lot that the students can learn within Earth systems, and I think the students, to complete this, need to have a STEM mindset to solve the real world problem, which is water filtration. And honestly, it was just a whole lot of fun. So it was a great project. There's my before and after pictures.